Peace, family. We are now live. We are now live. Good to be with y'all again. Had an incredible weekend in ATL with all the family that came out to the video. We about and came out to Stone Mountain. Shout out to and thank you to everybody who came out to the Stone Mountain hike. Shout out to everybody viewing. Make sure you get them likes up. Tell your friends and family you're about to have an incredible night. I'm about to bring on my guest. She has been on once before, and oh man, she did her thing. I see somebody said your reading with her was amazing. Yeah. I'm glad y'all enjoying the readings from the Queen. So we about to get started. Give me 1 minute. We're gonna get to a commercial. Snippet from Holy Ghost 3. Make sure you tell your friends and family. A very important show is about to be aired live. So make sure you tell your family and friends that we are live. And I'll be back in 1 minute, family.
Started out with nothing. Now I got a whole lot of something. Breaking through the roof. Willy Wonka when he pressed the button. When I do a money ritual, all of a sudden money started coming. Then I cut the Holy Ghost. I still be rhyming even when I'm mumbling. You repeat my name 3 times while you staring in the mirror. Body will appear like poof. I came from out of thin air. To me the gun is like a magic wand. I make a problem disappear. I would nigga tape out his mouth. What? Just to turn it to veneer. I can do magic. 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 When I open up my mouth, I can move masses. Black magic on the beat, turn it to a classic. I'ma take the money out the bank, then I'ma put it in a mattress. Tell me the niggas got.
All right, and we are back live.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let me bring welcome back. Priestess Auset Men. Welcome back.
All righty. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, God.
Hey, is it Priestess or is it Queen Auset?
No, it's Priestess.
Oh, okay. I put Queen. Okay, I got you. I got you.
That's fine.
I got you. I'm gonna fix that for you.
Priestess Queen. It's all good.
Hey, so it's good to have you back on here. The first show was amazing I did with you. How's everything been?
Everything has been wonderful. You know, when I came on your show, so many people came for readings and, you know, donated money to my PayPal. No, not to my PayPal, to my Cash App. Thank you for my birthday, you know, and just, you know, coming for these spiritual readings that I absolutely love to do, to, you know, to let folks know what they're walking with, what they're here to do in this incarnation, what they're working with, because that's the most important thing.
Right. Indeed. I know you deal a lot with the natal charts and how important that is, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Dope. Well, we're gonna have a good show tonight. I was watching some of your videos and I see you had a couple of videos on Saturn, and I love when I have the opportunity to talk with somebody about Saturn. I love when I'm able to talk to somebody about topics that we are taught to be so fearful of. And a lot of people are afraid to even touch on those topics. And I had a show about a week ago about Lucifer, and the brother was talking about the origin of Lucifer and its and how they flipped the story around and the difference between Lucifer and Satan and the devil and all that stuff. And it was a very interesting show. So Saturn is another one of those topics, a planet that probably has the worst reputation out of all the planets in the solar system. And a lot of our people are afraid of Saturn. And I guess to start out with, a good way to start the show with, a good approach is first, I named the show Mama Saturn. I've heard you call Saturn Mama or Mother Saturn before.
Yeah, because it is a feminine energy. It is a feminine planet.
And that's very confusing because we're taught about Saturn, Chronos, Father Time, this male energy. So
patriarchy.
Patriarchy. Yeah. So talk to me about Saturn being this divine feminine energy that you're speaking of.
Well, first of all, us Nubians are ruled by Saturn. That's one of our original planets going back to the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Chaldeans. They dealt with a lot of the Saturnian energy because Saturn is the crone mother. And she is actually one of our first teachers. She's one of the oldest planet that was placed in the seventh sphere. Now, back in the day, they were called the seven sisters, which is Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Sun, and Moon. But you know, when the Babylonian priest, you know, Samir, they decided to go to war against Tiamat, who's also a Saturnian deity, like Kali Ma, you know, and Ereshkigal, the underworld. You know, when they usurped the divine matriarchy and they overthrew everything, they supplanted themselves in those deities. And then later on, the infant race, they just took it in a whole nother level because they have Saturn as a Caucasian male eating a baby. Very disrespectful.
Yes.
Of the crone mother, you know, because they have demonized it and put, you know, so much crazy ass ritual for people to do that really are dangerous. Matter of fact, you had a white guy, Arthur Morose, that wrote a very good book, but it was filled with a lot of fuckery too. Cult of the Black Cube.
Ah, okay.
And it's a Saturnian grimoire. But some of the stuff in it, if you did it, you risk and open yourself up to some real crazy energy. And he died, you know, after he wrote the book. I think he did like a part 2 of stuff, and I am not surprised. Because Saturn is not one of those deities that you can play with, because even though she is the crone mother, it's a very dark energy. And it is an energy about taking your power back. This is where all the power lies.
In Saturn.
Yes, but here is the thing. Saturn is a taskmaster. You are not going to walk across that stage and get that diploma if you have not showed up for classes, did the assignments, did your homework, your research, you know what I'm saying, and passed the test. Because what Saturn demands is that you be a spiritual adult, that you take ownership, you know what I'm saying, for all your decisions, positive and negative, because everything is a polarity. Set, you know, the Kemetic god, you know, killed his brother-in-law Osiris out of jealousy. I mean, even I'm a high priestess of Oshun. She's one of the youngest Orishas. But when she gets pissed off, she is almost impossible to appease. And then you have the goddess Hathor, that when she gets pissed off, she transforms into Sekhmet. And there's 2 parts to Sekhmet, and it's actually 3 in 1, Hathor, Sekhmet, and Bast. So everything in my art has this polarity, like Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, you know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, and I put a little note here about the spiritual okie doke going on right now with this whole love and light, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So no, explain that. I want to hear. But
there's a lot of spiritualists that know that we are becoming awakened, and there's a lot of spiritual plants and charlatan, almost like bots, and they are making this whole spiritual ascension to be this love and light, and it's nothing like that. Because we are still, you know, even though Earth has made her ascension to 5D, we're still on 3D vacillating between 4D. And I don't know, you can let me know if you have been feeling these frequencies shift and going through these massive deja vu. Have you been feeling that?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes it feels like you're on a spaceship. You know what I'm saying? And like you just travel in the cosmos, but you still here on Earth. And one of the things is this spiritual ascension, you know, the dark night of the soul, you go through a lot. because there is a lot of trauma that we have to work through, both ancestrally, you know, physically, mentally, and even from past lives. You understand? And wherever your Saturn is situated in your natal chart, this is the most important lesson that you are here in this lifetime to master. And it's like the Bible said, the mind is a battleground. So we have a lot to master. And what is disturbing to me, you know, going through, you know, seeing a lot of these videos on love and light, and they make it seem like it is so it's so easy, and it's loving, and it's all of that. No, it is like childbirth.
You took it there, huh?
Yeah, it is like childbirth, you know. And I've given birth to 5 children. Well, I had 1 C-section, Hathor, but I birthed 5. You know what I'm saying? And it is very hard. Because this is the new self that is emerging. And, you know, Saturn, what she deals with rules, karma. She is a teacher. She is an authoritarian. She deals with self-discipline. Less is more. The matrix has collapsed. The age of consumerism is dead. And so we are getting to the root of who we are. We're going back to being gods. And that is no easy feat. Because for so long we have been indoctrinated. First of all, we created religions that was also hijacked. And so much stuff was done that there is so much work to be done. Because collectively, we have to start elevating these ancestors, because those that have not been that have not been elevated are still crying out for justice. You know, here in America, all these excuse me, towns that they buried underwater, Black Wall Street that was bombed. You know what I'm saying? And all these people that were murdered. And so, you know, if we think we're just gonna light and love, no, that's not what this is about. And once again, what's happening is that they're trying to indoctrinate us and distract us from doing the work, and to make it light and cute and fluff bunny. And that's not what Saturn is.
Right.
Yeah,
I get exactly what you're saying. It almost reminds me of, you know, a lot of people that are successful in life at what they want to accomplish. They tell everybody one of the main things is you have to get out your comfort zone, and you have to be uncomfortable. And you have to appreciate being uncomfortable. You may have to do things you don't want to do. You may have to get up when you don't want to get up. So I guess that reminds me of Saturn. You know, so I automatically link Saturn with that whole success thing, because that's the whole self-discipline aspect.
That's it. Saturn is going to take you from kindergarten to the spiritual boardroom.
From zero to hero, huh?
From zero to hero. And the thing about the age of Aquarius, the ancient ruler is Saturn. It's not this Uranus that they just discovered, you know, because the ancient didn't deal with Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, because Neptune is really the moon. Pluto is Mars. And Uranus, I call her baby Saturn.
What do you mean Pluto's Mars? What do you mean by that?
Because the ancient ruler of Scorpio is Mars. But they assigned it Pluto. And I always side-eye anything that they took from the original sources and they assign it to something that they discovered in 18-something. No, we're going by the ancient Kemet, the ancient Babylonian, Sumerian, Phoenician, Kushite, Fattites. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you said something interesting earlier when you was talking about the 7 sisters. You mentioned Mars. That's like a warrior energy.
That's like the woman king. That's also a feminine planet. That's
Mars.
like, matter of fact, Sekhmet rules over Mars.
Sekhmet, yeah.
Yes.
Ain't some shit, man. You just come on.
Yes. Sekhmet rules over Mars.
This is why I gotta talk to you. What you mean Sekhmet rule over Mars?
Sekhmet rules over Mars because Sekhmet is a fiery energy.
Yeah.
And Sekhmet, but a lot of people only focus on the destructive aspect of Sekhmet, where Sekhmet really is a healer and healed through fire. And when you look at even in the Orishas, Mars is identified with Ogun, and there's actually a female aspect of Ogun. This is again like the woman king, because everything was usurped by patriarchy. So when I deal with any of these, I take it back to its ancient feminine roots before it was usurped. And Mars is a feminine planet that deals with war and healing. She is your inner warrior. You know what I'm saying? Because in your natal chart, if you want to know what's your spiritual bullets, what is your spiritual weapon, you got to look in Mars. That's your inner spiritual warrior.
Got to look at Mars.
Yeah. And so this is what it is. And when you look at the aspect of Sekhmet, Sekhmet deals with fire. You know what I'm saying? Even though she's identified as a sun deity, because Bast really is the sun deity, and even though Sekhmet is identified with that, she's an aspect of Mars. It's her in her warrior aspect of fire, and fire cleanses and it also purifies. Because even Black Americans, you all are the original Aboriginal natives here. And there is a lot of rituals that is done through fire with shamanism.
Yes.
And I mean, no shade to anybody else, but I'm just going to keep it real. I had a young sister in my circle, and she said she went to a powwow, and it was 99.9% Caucasians. And, some of them were even racist towards her.
Yikes.
And I was like, well, that too has been observed. I mean, look at what they did with Yahshua. Skin like burnt bronze, hair like lamb's wool.
Yeah.
How you get pale skin out of burnt bronze? You know what I'm saying?
Do you think these energies, when you talk about Sekhmet, you talk about Saturn, these energies that you speak of, does it matter to this energy? Like you talked about the people that was at the powwow. Does it matter to these energies what the people may look like, or all that matters is whoever's given respect, honor, and praise and reverence to that particular energy? That's who that energy will serve.
Well, that's one aspect of it, but you have to also look at tone and frequency. I'm gonna give you an example. It's like when they turned Yahshua into a Caucasian. And even though this is not about race or color, but this is identity theft.
Identity theft, yes.
So when you sitting down and you praying to this white Jesus, and that's who you have in your mind, where are your prayers going? Because this is also about tone and frequency. You understand? And there is a certain energy that is associated with melanin. And all these deities were melanated. Are melanated. You understand? You cannot come in and steal someone's God. And just because you venerate it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is still going to serve you, because there is such a thing as tone and frequency. There is bloodline,
vibration, all that.
Vibrational frequency. You know what I'm saying? And we have to honor and respect that. That's just what it is. Listen, I have no problem somebody venerating a deity, but be respectful of the origins, the origins of that deity. Why should you come and put your image on that deity? And others are now indoctrinated, worshiping a false image.
I love how you said that, and I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna give you credit when I say it in the future. I'm gonna say this ain't about race. This is about identity theft.
Yes,
I,
yes,
I gotta use that line. Oh, I like
yeah,
that one there.
yeah,
I like that one there. Oh man.
yeah, yeah. That's like if somebody took your show
Yeah.
and took all of your stuff, and let's just say they were Caucasian and start cosplaying you.
Yes. Yeah. You
Yeah,
explained it. You
yeah,
articulated it masterfully.
yeah.
So I love the way you articulated it. Let me ask you this about Saturn. So
Mhm.
Saturn, Saturday, that's the
Yeah.
Sabbath for some religions. One religion in particular that we know of. I said something about the folks in this religion before, and my channel got suspended. So we all know who I'm talking about, though the small hats. I ain't even gonna
Right.
say the name, but I said something. Me
Oh
and Rod
yeah.
Hayes had said
Hmm.
something, and they suspended my channel for like 7 days, but and called it hate speech. So
Right.
y'all know who I'm talking about. The same folks Kanye had a problem with, but
And still identity theft.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing, identity theft, exactly. But I want to ask you this. On Saturday, as black folks, Saturday's our day. We party, we drink, we smoke, we have a good time, we relax, we go out. What's the
But that's
connection?
not what we did originally.
So talk to me about, because right now, Saturday, I
Yeah.
know it's a joyful day. It's filled with you going out, you enjoying yourself. What was the origin and the purpose of how we're supposed to treat a day like Saturday?
Well, Saturday was a day of reverence.
Yeah.
And this was even to me a few years ago. I was going out to play my lottery ticket and I heard very clearly honor the Sabbath.
Yes.
And so Saturn and the sun are the major deities that I work with. So every Saturday, I do a Saturn ritual. I have a rite of Saturn where I tap into Saturn, a meditation. You understand? Saturday was our day of reverence, of venerating the crone mother. It was our day of worship before all of this was hijacked and it was given on a Sunday, because Saturday is also a very powerful day.
No, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you take a people from a particular day where there is a particular energy
Let's say for those of us who study.
and they are tuned in collectively, given that energy. Can you imagine the amount of power that is amassed, that is invoked? It's just like in the Kemetic calendar where they have ancestral holy day. When the day of the ancestors, the frequency is at its peak.
Mm.
And a personal holy day of where you venerate your inner God,
Mm-hmm.
goddess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I even ran across something on YouTube, and I'm not going to call the person's name, but this is, one of them, that's out here with this thing. And it was like, oh, well, your karma, you can just get rid of your karma just by saying these magic words. Now, pardon my French, what kind of fuckery is that?
Mm.
Because if you think you are going to do all of this stuff, because this is again energetic signatures in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have done things, whether you committed rape, murder, trafficking, slavery, all of this, and you think now, because of the day that we're in, that you can just say 3 little magic words and absolve all of that. Oh, I got news for you.
Yeah.
And what is the age of Saturn? This is a return of justice on this planet. This is a return of karma, that the seeds that you have sown, you must now reap. And Saturn, after this age of Aquarius, which is literally power to the people, and this is collectively, because even though Saturn has been described as a devil is not a color. You know what I'm saying? It's a frequency that you're vibrating at. Listen, I sleep with a gat. by my bed. A machete, an axe, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
And it
good.
ain't for nobody. That's why it's a somebody that look just like me that don't want to run up and have to get done up.
Oh man,
You feel me?
you from Jamaica, right? You said Jamaica.
Yes, crazy
Yeah,
Jamaican.
yeah. My girl's Jamaican. She got a few marbles missing.
Yeah, right. You know,
I'm messing with y'all, but yeah. I
well, we
feel
grew
you.
up
No, I feel you.
in a rough environment, so you
Yeah.
know it's who we are. You know, and so at the end of the day, what is being told is that just forgive and forget. And yes, we got to work towards forgiveness because one of the main things about Saturn is detachment from this realm. Don't be so attached to your possession, your job, your thing, where it's like if you don't have that, you can't be happy.
Mhm.
Because as long as you're doing what you are doing, you will have enough.
Mhm.
And you can have more than enough. It's up to you. You ain't got to be out here passing out BJs to pay the rent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
You're gonna be taken care of if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But you got to put in that work.
Mhm.
And this is where a lot of people don't want to put in the work. And this is where the various, I call them the spiritual bots now, that is all about this love and light and this elevation. And, you know, we're just going to get to this higher frequency without, you know what I'm saying, going through the birthing pains.
Mhm.
Because whenever the new has to emerge, you know what I'm saying, we have to go through a birth in a sense. You know what I mean? Because we're coming out of 2,000 plus years of indoctrination under
Yes.
the Piscean age. And even after this age of Aquarius, whose ancient ruler is Saturn, is going to be the age of Capricorn, whose ancient ruler is also Saturn. So Mother is coming here for like 4,000 plus years
Mhm.
to clean this stuff up. Because, like I said, the matrix has fallen. We are literally existing in a different time frequency. While everything looks the same, it is not the same. Things have changed,
Oh yeah.
and things are collapsing. You know, we've all heard the government is no more. You know what I'm saying? The dollar is collapsing. It's all kind of stuff. And what is happening? It's the end of the infant's rule on this planet. And he is hanging on with Kung Fu Death Grip. He's going to pull out all the stops. But here is the thing. Kingdoms rise and fall. We had the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Phoenician, the Cushites, Fattites, Chemite. Their kingdom, Rome, Greece, fell. What makes this little infant ass empire think it wasn't going to come to an end? And something else is going to emerge, because let me tell you something. Men are the youngest species on this planet. And one of the things that the mother has revealed in transcendental meditation is that she's going to literally remove 70% of males off this planet. Because when you look around, males are the most destructive species on this planet. They were the ones that went to war with the divine matriarchy. They were trafficking their mothers and daughters. You know what I'm saying? They did some horrible stuff.
Mm.
You know, because if there's a sister called Shabless, you know, Mama T's channel, she put up something about the Sibyls. And there's a book that was written by Mama Zogbe that wrote about the Iyamiaje and the Sibyls, you know, that talks about these ancient kingdoms of oracles and prophetess, and how their temples were just decimated. Their holy books was confiscated and burned. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they still have some of those books. You know, that's why when I read the Bible and the Quran and the Torah, I take it back to the mothers, because those are our books that were also observed. And see, what's coming in this age of Aquarius is that the collective should have a say in how the government is run and how the resources are distributed. Because here is the thing, we have enough resources on this planet to eradicate hunger, homelessness, poverty, literally overnight. But the resources is controlled by about 3 to 5% of the so-called elites, and it passes down through generation after generation in their bloodline. And they have created big companies like Walmart's, you know what I'm saying? All the big companies, the fashion industry, the name brands, they're all owned by a select few family, like literally about several families. And when you look at McDonald's, and I can't get off their tip, I keep talking about them because literally they have the ability where they can pay people $30 an hour and it would not break them. These are billion-dollar corporations that they make billions of dollars a month. And you are still paying people a punk ass $15 an hour, where that's not even a living wage. And it's so much more. And now you look at these prefabbed houses getting built up. They look fancy as hell. You know what I'm saying? But they're prefabbed houses. They have no foundation whatsoever. And Spirit has said in years to come, with the inclement weather, the rain and all of this, the people living in those homes are going to have black mold of the lungs. Lo and behold, I did a reading for a white woman whose son bought a house that was built in 2000. In 2006, his wife went to the hospital with black mold of the lungs.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so much going on. And what it is, once the collective is fully awakened and activated into their spiritual power through Saturn, because Saturn is also about law and order. It's an older established energy that is all about responsibility, order, justice, fairness. And I don't know why, I'll say, the establishment is so afraid of that.
Right.
Because everybody should have a say in how these resources are distributed. Like they're giving billions to Ukraine, and people over here are living in tents.
You see that, right?
Yeah, living in tents. People are getting put out of their homes daily because of the greed. And when it's all said and done, these prefabbed houses that are being built up with these fake ass subdivisions, communities, you know, the banks are going to have to wipe these mortgages clean, because these houses are not even worth the paper that they throw them up in a month or 2 months. They're not even worth the paper they're printed on.
Yeah.
And you want to sell them for $600,000. Ridiculous. And so this is where Saturn comes in to restore order, and she is going to restore that through sickness, through, you know, corporations going out of business, you know, economies crashing. There will be tornadoes and earthquakes and floods, and you see the planet is heating up because the planet is getting ready to remove some people off of this planet. You feel me? And, you know, they're making people afraid of going out in the sun because of the solar flares. That's the time you need to be going outside, channeling these energies.
Oh, yeah.
To cleanse and purify you, because you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Since you speak of Saturn and karma, do you think it's possible for people to avoid generational karma by mixing into certain bloodlines? So let's say if I belong to a certain group who has committed heinous acts, but then I mix in with a bloodline of people who were oppressed, and who's going to be on the rewarding side of karma in the next couple of years? Does my seed, does my son, my daughter, do they avoid the karma that I have sown into this planet? Because now I have merged with this group that was suffering the most on the planet.
They won't avoid it. They won't avoid it. You know what I'm saying? They won't avoid it. And so, first of all, work must be done on a large scale. Until, you know, because the 60s was when free love came in. You know, people started wearing their afros, their dashiki, lighting up their incense.
Mm.
And that was replaced by the 80s with greed. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to go around collectively to the planet with our little urn, like the Catholics use in the churches, and literally sage this planet, lay down offering. We have got to, start doing work so that the people that are on, as in life, so in death, that shit is real. And trust me, I do ancestral reading, in which I just stopped. I put that on pause because a lot of people will come in for ancestral reading, and it's like, wait a minute, your ancestors aren't going anywhere. You need to focus on what you're here to work with.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You need to decode your spiritual science.
Mm-hmm.
Put that puzzle together.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are done doing you and knowing what you came back here, what you're supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then when you're finished all of that, then you can do something for your ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like being on an airplane with children, and they tell you if the plane is going down, you got to put on your mask first. Yeah. You can't put it on your kids, because what happened if you pass out?
Let me ask you this. I see you wearing all black. What are your thoughts on Saturn and its connection to black? And should we be using black candles, wearing more black, black clothes in the sun? Talk to me
here's
about
my
that.
thing. Black is my favorite color. And the reason, because black is the absence of, when I wear all black, I feel safe. I feel protected.
Ooh.
They have even demonized the color black.
Yes, they have.
You understand? There's nothing wrong if people want to wear bright colors, but there's nothing wrong if you want to wear black colors. You know what I'm saying? Because black is one of our colors, And so, priests and priestesses of Saturn were black. You understand? Yeah. And so this is one of the things that was demonized. You understand? To make our people afraid. Yeah.
No, definitely. You speak of Saturn being the ancient mother. I want to know who's her boo-boo? Who's her man? Who's the ancient father? Who's that? Who she gets that divine connection from to complete the circle? Who's her boo-boo?
Well, Saturn was created by the primordial mothers and placed in the seventh sphere, and everything has its divine masculine and feminine. Men were created to serve and protect. Women were created to rule. Now, if women ruled this planet, do you think we would have all the chaos and the poverty and the homelessness? Because women throughout time, when they ruled, distributed the resources, evenly. It don't mean everybody got to be rolling on dubs. But no one should be homeless when this planet is so bountiful. You know what I'm saying? And Mother Saturn, there is a counterpart. You know what I'm saying? But the mother was the one that was placed out in the front. And he was in the temples lighting the candles, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's not about male versus female and one higher than the other. No, it's a divine balance. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we used to reproduce through parthenogenesis.
Right. I've heard of that.
Till, the Anunnaki showed up and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So think about this. This was
so the Anunnaki fucked that up, the parthenogenesis?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Came down and did experiments.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. You know what I always wondered when I read this information. Let's say on Saturn, and I hear about parthenogenesis or the divine feminine. I always wondered why. Often to understand ancient times, I study what's going on in modern times, and it helps me get a concept of how things was before. I always notice that women don't get along with each other. Now, is that because you're representative of chaos beings? But I always notice brothers.
No, it's immaturity. It's immaturity.
But was it always like that? Because if you're
No,
saying,
it was not always like
oh,
that.
okay,
Let me tell you something. I love my sisters.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But there are sisters that are negative. You know what I'm saying? That are jealous, that are envious. And it's all about frequency. Because listen, there is no need to compete. We need more of us
Mhm.
that are honest and ethical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when I read for another sister or brother and they're also a reader, I'm like, yay, good. Because we need more honest, ethical, oracles, prophetess, prophets, you know what I'm saying? Sages, healers, teachers.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of charlatans. And what it is, if a woman has not done her internal work and know her worth, then it's jealousy and competition, because that was also something that was bred in us.
Mhm.
There's no need for me to compete with you.
Mhm.
You're the divine masculine, I'm the divine feminine, and
Mhm.
it's a balance
Mhm.
that is supposed to coexist peacefully. But if people have not done the work within, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Then they're still vibrating on that lower frequency, because those are all lower level frequency: jealousy, envy, competition. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because when you're walking in your own power, you don't need to compete with anybody else. Everyone's doing, there's something for everyone. Came back here with spiritual gifts. Everyone came here, chose to come here at this time to help in the collective awakening, whether they're on their path or not, or they are living their purpose.
Mhm.
Everyone has a part to play. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But, for whatever reason, a lot of people, have not taken the time, because you are the greatest project that you will ever embark on. It's like building your own pyramid
Mhm.
that you are now going to live inside.
Mhm.
And you have to do the work.
Mm. Indeed. Let me ask you this. I see you got a lot of sisters that are spiritual. A lot of the witches that I talk to, they always have cats. They always got cats. And I've
Yeah,
heard people talk about cats being from other dimensions, cats be coming from other
they
planets.
are. Mhm.
What I want to ask you is what animal or is has the energy of Saturn the most? Like, there's a certain animal that comes from Saturn or represents that Saturnian energy the most.
Well, Saturn is also identified by cats. She's
Mm.
identified by black crows.
Black
She's
crows,
identified by vultures.
vultures. Ooh.
Yeah, because the ancient Egyptian goddess that rules over the sign of Capricorn is Nekhabet.
Mhm.
And Nekhabet is one of the goddesses of the dead. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? She rules
Mhm.
over life, death, and rebirth. On the tombs of the pharaoh. They often have, like a vulture,
Mhm.
painted on. Yeah. So the
Mhm.
vulture is one of Saturn's totems, as is the black crows, cats, and there's a few more. There's a few more. Can't think of it off the top of my head because I'm going through menopause, and menopause, you just be like, having all types of brain fog.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Any herbs, foods that help you tap into that Saturnian energy?
Well, their herbs are like, let me see, like basil, vetiver.
Mhm.
Um, one of the oils is like myrrh, let me see. There's quite a few. If you'd like to hold on for a minute,
Oh, do
I'll
your
just
thing. Yeah, 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 do
yeah,
your take
yeah,
your time. Take your time, sis. We
yeah.
get the chat is popping. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We having an amazing conversation on Saturn. We got about 2,300 people in the chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure if you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe so you could be notified of when I have lives like this. That's very important. A lot of people watch the lives and they're not even subscribed. So please make sure you subscribe if you are not subscribed so you can know when the next the next video is coming on. But this is an awesome video. We're learning about Saturn. So much misinformation about so many things, Saturn being one of them. So I'm glad we have the time. Like I was taught Saturn, Father Time, Chronos. Like you said, a white man eating a baby and all that shit. So
Right.
look
And
here,
see, here is the thing.
yeah.
What we Nubians have to realize, we are, even though in the age of the Kemites, the Egyptians, we were called people of the sun. We are also people of Saturn because we are the oldest race on this planet. You feel me?
Does the sun, the Saturn come before our sun?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You got it.
He was the first that was placed in the heavens.
You got that. You gonna wow. That's
Yeah. And so some of the herbs with Capricorn is cypress, oak moss, patchouli, vervain, vetiver. You know what I'm saying? And so, some of, like I said, the oils are like myrrh. Any darker like oils. I can't think of the others off the top of my head, but I know myrrh definitely is one of them.
Okay, myrrh. Okay. Okay. So with Saturn, one of the things that stands out about the planet Saturn, even as a child, any kid that sees it, the rings around Saturn stands out, and it makes Saturn this unique planet amongst the other planets. Being that Saturn was one of the first planets created, being that Saturn, like you said, Saturn is older than the sun. What is the purpose of the rings that are around Saturn?
Well, those rings are just to protect the inner layer of Saturn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a part of who Saturn is. Those rings are just there. Yeah. It's musk, Irish moss. You know what I'm saying? Skullcap, wolf's bane. These are some of the things of Saturn. And Saturn's ring, it's when you go deep out into space, there is a lot of space derbies. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that are out there, especially like when, you have, what is it? These things that what are these things that come through space that can hit the earth? And those rings actually protect Saturn.
You talking about what, the asteroids?
Huh?
You talking about the asteroids?
Asteroids and things like that. There is an incredible amount of derbies out in space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, indeed. Indeed. Yeah,
Saturn is a gaseous, cold planet. And even though she is identified as an Earth type energy, it's not an Earth type energy. It's more of an air type energy, a gaseous type energy. Yeah. They only ascribe it to Earth because she rules over banking and finance. You know what I'm saying? But, when you look at your older ancestors, like the Babylonians,
right,
the Sumerians, they were under the dominion of Saturn. They were not sun worshipers. Those are Saturnian energies. Those are the oldest energy. And that is the energy. Now that we're in the age of Aquarius, the return of Saturn, this is for us to now take our full power back. But see, Saturn is like the stern grandmother. You got to do the work.
Big mama.
Right, because listen, under the age of Pisces, you didn't do any work. You went to church and the pastor did his preaching and you got up, you sing and dance and you pinched your nipples. You got your rocks off. Now you're going to have to do your work in Saturn. You're going to have to take your spiritual baths.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to, purify and cleanse on a regular. You're going to have to do your mantra.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to you're going to have to resolve your trauma, whatever they are, whether you were sexually molested as a child, you were raped, you've been in prison, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And then you've got to, after you do all of that, now you start to develop a routine for your spirituality, because you're no longer under the dominion of Pisces where the pastor do the work for you, because that was laziness. Remember, you were a child in the Lord. Now you're going to be a full-grown adult in Saturn. Now you're going to do your work. And here is the thing. Once you step on this path, you have got to have a ritual that you do. Every Saturday, like I said, I do a mantra 108 times. I do a rite of Saturn. I do meditation. You know what I'm saying? I do, and that takes me all about an hour and a half, and I'm good for the rest of the week. Right. Sunday, I'll do a little shamalama ding dong. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. The Ankh, Uja, Seneb. I just started incorporating that. And I'll do the Om, Krim, Suraya, Namaha. I do the sun mantra because I was born on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I do identify with the sun, even though Saturn is the major planet that I work with. Mm-hmm. And see, the people that you're talking about that your channel got shut down, you know what I'm saying? They work with Saturn, but they are going to have some heavy karma for what they have done with the whole identity theft and the money system and all of that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to leave that right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And there's a lot of karma that's coming and a lot of exposure that's coming. And listen, one thing about our people, and I get it, people always want a community to be a part of. But every time we have a community, look at Dr. York, one of the most powerful teacher of this century. And they got that brother locked up on some bullshit ass, trumped up ass charges, because he was the one that was letting you know exactly who you are, hipping you to your galactic family, aliens, and all of this. Nobody was teaching stuff that Dr. York, and he put all of that, the holy tablets, the Torah, all of that in the Nubian race that's represented by the original people. Uh-huh. And so now, under the age of Aquarius, the collective is awakened and are going to be activated, because there are things coming into this planet, boy. Activation, because Earth has already made her ascension to 5D. We don't need to be part of a community. We are a community, individually and collectively. It's like what went down in Montgomery, Alabama. Mm-hmm. When mm-hmm. they ran up and the brother threw his hat up in the air, the Batman, and fuck this job. And you see black women jumping off and swimming, and all these people coming, and it's what the Honorable Malcolm X had said: when you come for one, you come for all. And this is where it's going to come to, because it's literally, and I've talked about this, these Nubians are going to go to sleep and they're going to wake up literally like X-Men. Something activates in them. I'm gonna give you thing. The video by the little the gay dude, Little Nas X, Montero. I don't know if you've ever seen that video. Mm-mm. But it's a video. He's a gay performer, and he did this video, and it was rife with so much symbolism. But basically what it is, he was so-called in the Garden of Eden playing his guitar and wishing he could become awakened. Well, the snake heard him. And when the snake came and kissed him on his lip, it imparted wisdom to him. And then it went down and he licked his belly button. That's his sacral chakra. So now the establishment heard that he was awakened. So they brought him before the establishment, threw him down, and the zombies that was still asleep, they decried him as a heretic or a witch or whatever, and they stoned him. And then as his spirit was flying up to heaven, the angel gave him a stripper pole and was like, wait a minute, before you can come up to heaven, you got to get to hell and twerking it on Satan. And so he goes to hell and he's twerking it on Satan. You know what I'm saying? And doing all of this. But basically what it is, after he's done doing all of that, and this is the symbolism of taking your power back. This is battling all your fear, all your insecurity, all your low self-esteem, your self-hatred, for you to become a god. And when he put Satan in a headlock, he took off Satan's horn, he put it on his head. Now his wings spouted and his eyes changed and he became a god. Now he can stay in hell and reign in hell, so-called hell, and helping those other souls to become God, to elevate higher. Or he can just leave hell and just transcend. Okay? Because this so-called person that they got as Satan, and Satan has been identified with Saturn, but this is also battling the shadow side of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
Yeah. This is also battling the shadow side of yourself, because we each have angel and demon. When you are born, you come in here with a full army. You know what I'm saying? You have a demon that's assigned to you. You have celestial beings, so-called angels, that's assigned to you. These are some of your guides. And so you have to battle your lower self to elevate yourself. You feel me?
So the demons that are assigned to you, what are their purpose for being assigned to you?
These are to help you to evolve, to battle your lower self. I'm going to give you an example. I did a reading for a brother, and I don't remember his name, but I mean, this brother was so down on himself. He thought he was fat, he was ugly, and he's a quote unquote spiritualist, magician, wizard, but nothing was going right for him. Of course not. Look at what, as a man thinketh, so is he. Look at what you are sending. Everything is based on frequency. You sending this frequency out into the universe of self-hatred. You are supposed to deify and love yourself as a god. Remember, it says in the Bible, are you not gods? Are you not created in the image of God? So why would you not walk in that frequency? You get up every day and you look in the mirror and, okay, so your body is not perfect. You know what I'm saying? You look at the original comedic painting of Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra clearly got a pot belly. You know what I'm saying? So what the hell? You know what I'm saying? I breastfed 5 kids. I don't have perky titties sitting up on my chest, but I know I am a goddess. You feel me? And so, you have got to walk, because your first love affair is going to be with self. And that's not coming from a narcissistic, arrogant standpoint, but you got to love you. You know what I'm saying? Because you are a part of the all. And that is saying you hate God's creation. You don't think God's creation is perfect in its imperfection. You got to embrace yourself with all of your imperfections. And so now you trying to, so-called work magic and and nothing can come through for you. Of course not. You have put so much barriers in your path. This is a whole mindset that when we collectively change our mindset, we're going to change some things. There is a thing right here. Let me get to this. It's called the Aj witches. You know what I'm saying? And it talks about women were born with the power of Ashe. You feel me? And this power of Ashe has the power to speak things into existence. We have that power. You know what I'm saying? And just imagine we speak some things, listen, let me read this. Women are born with Ofo, Ashe, or power of the word. This power is called Aj and is rooted in the concept of the female Ashe. There are male sorcerers, by the way, also called Oso, but they aren't as powerful as the woman. They belong to the Orisha Oko cult. Aj is really just the name of the power itself. The power, this is where the Bible talks about life and death is in the power of the tongue. So imagine when we are activated under Saturn collectively. Can you imagine the power that we're going to have to speak some shit into existence? You know what I'm saying? We will have the power to cause earthquakes, to cause tornadoes, to cause, empires to crumble. You know what I'm saying?
That is some power.
To cause anything that is being done, whatever is in the darkness must come out to light, to cause things to expose. And this is why they are afraid of us activating. This is why, when Malachi Z. York, because Malachi Z. York was that dude. So now we know individually and collectively, we can do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Because whenever we try to set up, a community or something, they always find a way to come in and have some, and we have some black devils. We will always have our black devils in the midst. You're never going to get away from them. That'll help to destroy from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why now it's a collective energy where we are spread out all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
We are in every segment of society. And there is a massive activation that is coming. Okay? Yeah.
So do you think, I know you talked about putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
This activation that's coming, that's already here for some people, that's continuing to come.
Mm-hmm.
Will it only come to those who put in the work, or like I believe you said,
We got to put in the work. Yeah.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, there are going to be some people that are going to choose, and everything is a choice. They're going to choose not to awaken at this time. Because see, everything is free will.
Mm-hmm.
This is why our galactic ancestors ain't came down and bust up some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The ancestors from Sirius B. You know what I'm saying? Because they cannot interfere with free will, because we are here to evolve.
Right.
And the age of Aquarius, whose ancient ruler is Saturn, Saturn is here now. Okay, you want to go back to the status of being a god, a goddess? You're going to put in this work.
Mm-hmm.
Because Saturn is also the realm of the occult.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much power with Saturn. Saturn is the one planet they can't even come with no fuckery. And even though you have some of them that's quote unquote, did identity theft, and they working with Saturn and this and that time is also coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there's no real power there. What was done was spells was cast.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And those spells are broken. I mean, the Hebrew Israelite, they know.
Is there, Priestess, is there a language that you would say works best with Saturn? Like if we do certain rituals, like is there a certain
No. Well,
like Hebrew or
there is Latin. There is Latin, because that's one of Saturn's language.
Latin?
Wow.
Like
when I finish on my Saturday and I say Desperdes enemigos míos et Saturnia nomen. Destroy my enemies in Saturn's name.
God damn, Priestess. That's how you end your prayer?
Yeah.
God damn.
We will always have the hating assholes. You know what I'm saying? They come with the territory. but check the shit right here. The lion don't give a shit about the opinion of sheeps. But if you come in my path, I'm gonna invoke some shit on your head. Yeah. Because I've been known to bust hoes down with the Quran, and I'm busting down some hoes that came for me and somebody else ran across my mind and he had did some fuck shit, and pardon my French, and I was like, fuck him too. He can get some of this and drop dead. He dropped dead the same night in the same hour I was busting down that other hole with my Solomon keys.
Busting holes down. Wow, you something.
Yeah.
You something, man. Wow.
Oh, I go right in the Quran. I had some Muslim brothers tried to come for me.
Mm.
And see, when I go in the Quran, I go to Alat, Al-Uzza, and Manat,
Uh-huh.
the mother who created all and the jinns. And when he came for me, you know, I had to go in the Quran and bust him down. 3 weeks later, he's emailing me and crying, begging me to take off what I put on him. Well, you went to Allah. I went to Alat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. And I went to Saturn because the Quran is also under Saturn. Oh, you didn't know?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Whew. Man.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. So, Saturn, our ancestors. Do some of our ancestors come from Sirius B, and some of them come from Saturn? Are they like the Africans and the African Americans?
No, well,
Like how does that work?
Well, we came from Sirius B and probably other places, but Saturn was our original planet.
Mm-hmm.
This was the planet where, you know, we were we're still under the dominion of Saturn. Remember, everything was usurped. You know, we were given the sun. You know what I'm saying? And the sun is no less powerful, but Saturn is the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And like Saturn is the grandmother, the sun would be like the mother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The moon is the maiden.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are under the dominion of Saturn because that's where all the power lies. This is where the ancient teachings come from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Because even the Hindus work with Saturn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, they know what's up.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Let me I want to, before we get out of here, we got about 2,400 people in here. We passed the hour mark. I want to get a couple of questions before we get out of here. This was, amazing show. I want to thank you so much for
thank you for having me.
Yeah, for doing this show. Let's get to a couple of questions while we wait for the family to put the questions in the chat. I want to post your Cash App. I'm gonna put my Cash App on the screen. If you like to support the channel, you're more than welcome to hit up the Cash App bottom of the screen. Also, I want to post the Priestess Cash App. Hold on, let me write this down. What's your Cash App?
My Cash App is hold on, let me see here. Damn, you think I'd have my stuff here? Hold on here.
Yeah, you ain't getting this information from a lot of places, family. So support the sources that are disseminating. Amazing show tonight. Very grateful for y'all being here.
Oshun 777. Oshun 777. $ Oshun 777.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. OSHU. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And thank you to all the people who donated to my Cash App the last time I was here. Thank you. It is so appreciated. Because, you know, let's keep it real. You know, YouTube ain't really paying us our worth. You know?
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. They take a hefty amount. When,
they do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do appreciate those who I got two. I was lucky enough to get 2 super chats tonight. So the 2 individuals who gave me a super chat, I'm thankful for those 2.
Thank you.
And
yep.
let's get to a couple of Q&A. I'm just going to take a couple of questions before we get out of here.
Okay, thank you, Kayla Kimball. She sent me Jonathan Crawford. Thank you. The Cash App. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. No. Yeah. Keep it. You know, it's important to tell them thanks. So yeah.
Yes.
Let's let me see. Let me get to a good question. Somebody says, all right. How do you work with Saturn? Is there a book and resources I can tap into?
Yes, there's actually a book called Saturn Rising, which is a grimoire. And hold on, I'll get it.
Take your time. She getting that book. Let me see what's going on in the chat in the meantime. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Great show. I love when I have shows like this. Shout out to John Lewis with the super chat. Appreciate you, John Lewis. Really do appreciate. Yeah, dope show. Definitely dope show. Definitely dope show. Shaman, I like this question. I'm gonna save it. What can men do specifically? I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna answer that. I like that question.
Here we
Where did it
go.
go?
Yeah.
I'm gonna save
And
that.
so this is one of the books. Let me see here. Saturn Rising. Saturn Rising. Just bypass any craziness that you see. You know, you need to go out 3 o'clock in the morning with intestine and put it in by a tree. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm. While, let me see, more importantly, a relatively modern phenomenon in terms of human history, this fascinating example of the persistence of life has only existed for around, okay, yada, yada. While ancient cultures came to adopt and even venerate death, which is a part of Saturn, including the Egyptians, Sumerian, Greeks, and others. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
They left behind monuments to Saturn. And then there's another good one called planetary magic. And this goes into, you know, working with Saturn and doing like there's a rite of Saturn here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And there's another one, your guardian angel planet, the 12 faces of Saturn.
Mm.
See what it says on the back? Saturn is a friend, not a foe. You understand? See, thank you for all the donations coming in. You know, here is the thing with Saturn, again, family. Saturn is going to be where we take our power back. You feel me? Because Saturn is the ultimate. Thank you, Will. Saturn is the ultimate. And let me tell you something. They can't fuck with Saturn. You understand? When you start tapping into your own science, you got to understand. Barina, thank you for the donation. You got to understand that we are under the dominion of Saturn. Our ancient Sumerian, Babylonian, Phoenician ancestors were under Saturn. Even our ancient Hindu ancestors, because the first set of Hindus was black, like the first set of Asians. You understand? And so when the 12 faces of Saturn, you have got to get to know Saturn. You understand? Because Saturn is our number one planet. We are under the dominion of Saturn. And even though we're people also of the sun, Saturn is like our ancient mother. You understand? And this is where all the power lies. She holds the tablets of destiny, life, death, rebirth, transformation, karma, wealth. She rules over, you know, the body. You know, she rules over sickness. You know what I'm saying? And Saturn will be the one that will, you know, destroy this present infant empire establishment, because it's a return of justice. It's the return of the Sibyl's lineage. You understand? Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for the donations. Thank you for the donations.
Let me get to the next question. Hold up. A brother asked a question I want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Where did it go? Yeah, shout out to the super chats also, family, those who are donating. All right, so Shaman wants to know, what can men do specifically to work with Saturn?
Okay, well, you can start on a Saturday. First of all, you need to learn the Saturn mantra, Om Sham Shani Charaya Namaha. Mm-hmm. And O Shan Shanti. There's two of them. You know, one is small, it's shorter. Om Shan Shanti. It's on YouTube. And what you do is you get some, you see this? Let me take this off. This is called mala beads. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this mala beads, the ancient Babylonians, this is lapis lazuli, which is good for the throat chakra, to open up your throat chakra and to help you to speak your truth.
Right.
When you get like some mala beads, they have 108 beads. So as you say a mantra, Om Sham Shani Sharaya Namaha, you move a bead. Om Sham Shani Sharaya Namaha, you move a bead. And you go all the way around until it's 108 times. That's the minimum time to say a mantra. And when you say that, you can use your words. Great Mother Saturn, I invoke your divine wisdom, your divine blessings, your divine guidance, your divine protection in my life, Mother Saturn. Teach me. You ain't got to say nothing fancy dancy. Put it in your own words. You ain't got to speak Latin, because as long as we listen, this is us. You understand? So Saturn knows us, but it's about your frequency, your tone, your sincerity. You can thank you for the donations. You cannot be afraid of Saturn, because Saturn, we are in the age of Saturn. And so everybody should be working with some aspect of Saturn. And I've given 3 good books, but the main one, the 12 Faces of Saturn. Find out where Saturn is in your natal chart. Like my Saturn is in Aries. So Aries is a planet of war. Aries can also be impulsive and impatient. So I am here to control my urges, my impulses, control my temper. You understand? And so, once you start working with Saturn, you start out every Saturday and you do a Saturn mantra, and then you can do a prayer of Saturn. You can create your own prayer, write your own prayers. I write my own prayers. Ask for her divine wisdom, guidance, protection, and blessings in your life. And you do a little meditation for about 5 or 10 minutes. You don't need to meditate 2-3 hours, and you're done for the rest of the week. And this is going to be like, in a sense, you going to church. You understand? This is you going into a spiritual ritual that you do. And you also ask Saturn to elevate your ancestors on the other side and to help you with elevation. You know what I'm saying? And then if you want to get fancy, Google Translate got, the Google translator, you can put a phrase in there and translate it into Latin and write it down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Powerful. Yeah. No, definitely. Somebody in the chat said 108 equals 9, Saturn's number of completion. So 9 is associated with Saturn. Would you agree with that?
Saturn has a bunch of numbers, because I didn't even know my number 7 was associated with Saturn. I know the number 3 is associated with Saturn. The number 8 is associated with Saturn. I recently found out 7. And so, Saturn can be 9 too, because it is the number of transformation. It's the last number before you get to 10, going back to 1. You know what I'm saying? So yes.
What's your YouTube channel? A couple of people asked.
It's Priestess Auset Ra Amen.
Okay. Priestess Ra Auset Amen.
Yeah, Priestess Auset Ra Amen. Should I type it in the chat?
It was on your oh, it's right there. It's right there.
Yeah, Priestess Auset Ra Amen. Yeah, that's my channel.
I had to take the question. So the same way her name is spelled on the screen, Priestess Auset Ra Amen. Sister got a lot of good videos on her YouTube channel that y'all could check out.
And thank you for the donation. And family, please, this is how we are going to take our power back. Saturn is the ultimate. Because once we are fully elevated to a certain degree, because not everybody's going to elevate fully in this lifetime, because we are humans, and the term human beings means non-perfect. And don't think because you're on a spiritual path, you have to be so holy and so perfect in this. No, that's a bunch of bullshit. These are the bots that's coming in, making it seem like, this is what it is. But you're going to have to put in some work. And once you put in that work, working with Saturn, you will see how things in your path will start to clear. because Saturn is the ultimate power. This is where all the power of the occult lies.
Somebody asked earlier, have you ever read Madame Blavatsky's work? You ever got into her stuff?
I've heard about it. Yeah, it didn't make me pinch my nipples. No,
Or Aleister Crowley? Never, you never.
no. I've read his work. I wasn't impressed.
Mm,
I'm just gonna keep it real.
okay. All right. Just curious. Just curious.
Yeah,
All right. Let's get to another. We're gonna do about 2 more questions, then we're gonna get out of here. Thank
yeah.
you, everybody who's in the chat. Uh Somebody's asking, is Saturn Kalima?
Yeah, she is an aspect of Saturn that comes to cleanse patriarchy. Yes. She is an aspect, she's a dark aspect of Saturn. Yep.
Okay, let's get to this next question.
And there are many more. There's Sebek, the god of the underworld, who, when my aunt weighs your heart against a feather, if your heart's heavier than the feather, goes in the pool with Sebek. There's Nekabet. There's quite a few of them. Yeah.
Somebody wants to know, why do mentally insane people are attracted to spiritually focused individuals?
Because mentally insane people feel the energy, from spiritual people, because a lot of people, when they're mentally insane, they're also on a spiritual plane. They're just very unbalanced. When you hear mentally ill people talk about they see aliens and they see ghosts and they're really seeing them shits. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
what it is, it mentally, they have to balance. And so they are attracted to spiritual people because there is a certain frequency and energy that we walk with that they try to get some of that energy. But you have to know, like, listen, if it's too crazy, I'm not entertaining that.
Indeed.
Yeah, because we are not here to be Captain Save-A-Hose. Okay.
Yeah, Mia, my fault. I missed your question in the super chat. I got you right now. Mia wants to know, my Saturn is in Libra. Can she talk about
all
Saturn?
about relationships, baby? All about when your Saturn is in Libra, you are here to learn how to have diplomatic, balanced, harmonious relationship, even within yourself. You can't be letting nothing like really rock your boat, because Saturn, is and I'll tell you, Saturn in Libra, you're also dealing with relationships from past life. You're going to have people from your past life that is in this life for you to, get it right what you didn't do the last life. Because Saturn also has to do with some of your past life.
Right. So does Saturn control reincarnation also?
Oh, hell yeah. Life, death, rebirth, and reincarnation. Yeah. Wherever your Saturn is, that gives you some idea of your past life, your Saturn and your South Node. You know what I'm saying? But Saturn gives you an insight of the lessons that you're here to master. And Saturn is in Libra is all about relationships, whether it's with family, co-workers, you know what I'm saying? Even within yourself, that balance, that Maatian balance within yourself.
Interesting, y'all. Very, 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 very interesting. We're going to get to one more question, then we're going to get out of here. Some of these questions we already touched on. Some of y'all might be coming in late.
Thank you, Terrence.
Priestess, there was serious. This gentleman here says, what about the tall Saturn black extraterrestrials? I'm sure you've seen a video of the white gentleman who said he's seen jet black individuals coming from Saturn or something like that.
Oh yes, those are Saturnian beings. You didn't know? Hell yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, those are beings that exist on Saturn, because the beings from Saturn actually look like us.
Like our cousins and shit? They look like
They look like some of the people that Dr. York, had in his books.
The holy tablets, like
the holy tablets.
I know you're talking about,
it's gonna be some shit when they land, because they coming here. You know what I'm saying? Because they're extraterrestrials that have always been here, that have been doing a lot of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we are going to have, them tall black Saturnian extraterrestrial. Yeah, that's what they look like. Oh, hell yeah.
Man.
Mhm. They look like the ancient Sumerians and Babylonian. You didn't know? Yeah.
Is that how the ancient Anunnaki look also?
Yes. Yes.
They are okay.
Yeah.
What about the Syrian beings? Are they more blue than black or black than blue or
They're all of that. They're all of that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Listen, Priestess, I want to thank you once again for coming on the show.
Thank
Amazing,
you for
amazing,
having me.
amazing show tonight. We had a packed house tonight. People loved it and enjoyed it. Before you get out of here, please tell them how they could get some of your services because I know they're gonna want to hit you up.
Yes. Thank you so much for the donation. It is so appreciated. Um, my can I put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Priestess, Priestess, Auset, Ra, AMEN.com. Priestess, Auset, Ra, Amen. Priestess, let me see. Auset, Amen.com. Yes, that is my website to book readings. And I have put ancestral readings on pause because I had so many people. I got like three of them to do tomorrow. And actually four. One dude, he ran off to Africa. And it's like I gotta reschedule with him. But I had to put those on pause. So what I'm doing now, I do metaphysical counseling. I do spiritual consultation, which folks need. Because when they email me, I send them to the free site to get their natal charts done, their numerology, and the celestial guide that was assigned to them. And this is to have it on hand. And we go through your natal chart. We show you what is your spiritual weapons, how you protect yourself spiritually, your Jupiter, which is your spiritual gifts. You come back here. What did you come back here to do? You know what I'm saying? Your Mars, your Venus, how you love, your creativity, all of this, because this is your spiritual science that has to be decoded. Your numerology. You know what I'm saying? If you're born on the 1st, then you're dealing with the sun type energy. This is dealing with Bass. This is all about self-esteem, self-confidence. If you're a number 2, you're dealing with the moon. This is all about intuition. You know what I'm saying? Mercury, you're a writer. You know what I'm saying? You can do music, all of that. So you got to decode your spiritual science.
Amazing.
And this is what it was. When a child was born in ancient time, the first thing that was done, their chart was casted to see why they came back here.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Deep stuff. Hey, once again, thank you so much for coming on. Look
Thank
forward
you
to
for
having
having
you
me.
on in the future. And with that being said, family, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Brother Rich. Let me get this down. Shout out to everybody who gave the super chat as well tonight. Everybody who just watched. Make sure you share the show with as many people as possible. This is something important. We've been brainwashed so much. And this identity theft that Priestess was talking about, that's a big thing that happened spiritually. There was a lot of spiritual identity theft going on. So we got to get this thing right.
And we got to take our power back through Saturn. Because Saturn, we are under the dominion of Saturn. It's time to go back home. Yeah. And thank you for the donations.
Got you. Hey, Priestess, I'm going to see you again soon. Thank you, everybody. We out of here.
Yeah, man.
Peace, family.
Peace.